and Roxy, and we're here to talk about Fire Emblem Three Houses. I almost made it. I made it, actually. All right, so let's get the show on the road. So we are a professor in the monastery, and this is 5 years before things get a little rough for our students. But Audrey, could you tell us some more about the story for our audiences back at home?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm playing as Byleth here, and we are at the Officers Academy at Garrick Mac Monastery. Don't worry about that green-haired girl in the room. That's completely normal, and everything is fine. But basically, at the outset of the game, I'm sorry, I have to talk to Bernie here. Oh, she says she's got a cold, but she's a big liar. Bernie's actually just a big introvert, but it's okay. You can pull her out of her shell over time. But at the outset of the game, you choose one of 3 houses to lead and to teach, and each one represents one of the ruling powers in Fodlan, the continent where this game takes place. So you're not just choosing the students who you want to teach, you may be choosing which side you want to take and, oh, I don't know, an impending war. So we're going to show a few of the activities that you can do here at the monastery. In there is the garden. Over there's the fishing hole. But you know what? I'm a bit peckish. I'm going to run to the dining hall real quick and see what's going on there.
I mean, it's morning for us, so I guess it's breakfast time.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So here we are in the dining hall. And, oh, hello, Dedu.
Investigating Ramire Village.
He's always so serious. Come on, let's get a bite.
Just walk away from the
Yes. So there are multiple paths you can take in this game. The one we're playing right now is the Black Eagle path, and this is Edelgard. She's the house leader of the Black Eagles. She's an incredibly important character. I won't spoil anything for anyone who hasn't played the game, obviously, but she has an incredibly compelling and deep backstory, just like all of the characters in this game. So I hope you look forward to getting to know her. But I'm going to jump here, and let's see. Petra looks like she really wants to get in on this meal. That's going to raise her motivation.
She's got that giant happy face, so like, I'm ready. Let's go for this.
And then it's a professor in Night Mixer, so I'm also going to invite Manuela to the party. And we're going to chow down. And one of the really cool things about the monastery activities is that not only is it really fun to interact with all of these characters like never before in a Fire Emblem game, everything you do has an effect on your game. You can see that dining with Petra increased her motivation. That's going to allow me to do more with her when we're in the tutoring phase. It also gave me more points so that my professor level went up. And having a higher professor level means that you have more activity points, more battles you can do, and you get more gold to spend on those all-important vulneraries.
Nice.
And look, I completed a quest along the way, so we're doing pretty well here.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Got that off the checklist.
Yep. Oh, and there's Raphael. I can't run by Raphael without saying hi. I love this guy. He's a big sweetheart. He actually has a really tragic backstory, but you wouldn't know it by his great attitude and his wonderfully ill-fitting shirt.
Yeah, he's just ripping out of that shirt.
He can't help it. His muscles want to be free. And he's worried because he ate too much fish recently, and so now he's worried he'll never want to eat it again. These are really, really big problems in the academy phase of this game. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and fast travel, and this is pretty big, so I'm very happy I can't fast travel, to the cathedral here and do a couple of more activities. And as I said, not only is it great to be able to interact with your students and actually run around in a Fire Emblem world, run around these wonderful environments, but everything you do has a practical effect in battle. So all of the things, all of the time you're spending here in the monastery is going to go back and help you in battle, which is still the core of this game.
Yeah, 'cause, like, speaking about like just the environments, it's like there's so much detail. It's such an expansive world to explore, so you'll definitely spend a lot of time not only in battles, but also exploring this monastery world.
Yeah, and so this is the advice box, and it's where students will anonymously ask you for advice. And you have to kind of, based on your knowledge of those students, guess what would be the answer that makes them happy so you can get support points with them. And I correctly guessed that that was Hilda.
Nicely done.
Yes, so I completed that quest, and Hilda's now very happy with me. As I said, all of the different monastery activities you can do, as well as battles, will increase your support points, which can unlock support conversations. Oh, I know by the hair that's Petra. Let's see.
Oh, you're right.
She misses the sea because that's where she's from a foreign land and she misses the ocean.
Nice
Yep.
guess. It's like you played this before.
I might know these characters a little bit, but all these characters are so lovable, and unlocking support conversations with them is really, really rewarding, especially since what's really dynamic about this game is that there's a 5-year jump at some point, so you get to see the support conversations that take place in the academy, and then there are also some that will only take place after the 5-year jump during the war phase of the game, so you get to see how the war and the events of the game have affected these students, which is really, really compelling. And that's how you get to know them enough to answer these advice box questions. And at that point, of course, after the 5-year jump, you can even pursue a romantic relationship with someone. Dimitri. Just saying.
He is quite handsome.
He is. Now I'm going to do some choir practice. I chose Dorothea, who's a former opera singer, and Ferdy, who has the voice of an angel. So we're going to do some choir practice. And again, like everything at the monastery, it has an effect. It raised their faith experience, and I got more authority experience as their professor. So it's another boon to your battle, to your strategies, to the way you're going to be able to level up these characters.
I'm noting that the game is fully voiced. I really like, whenever you talk to a character, they are fully voiced and you can really engage with them. And some folks would be happy to know there's dual audio options. So
yes, if you want to play with the Japanese voices, you absolutely can. So we're going to jump into some tutoring here. And as you can see, you can choose to instruct manually or automatically. One of the wonderful things about this game is that it's as deep as you want it to be. If you want to, like me, I love to pour every single stat, every single unit that I have, and try and customize it to my heart's content. But if you're the kind of player who really just wants to race through the story and the battles as fast as you can auto-tutor, and it won't be quite as effective, but it is an option if you'd rather not deal with all of this stuff that I just personally love pouring over. So for Linhart here, as you can see, I've set a custom focus for him. You can choose some predetermined skill goals for him, but I really want to make him a cavalier. I need more movement on my team. So I'm going to try and increase his lance and riding skills. Oh, he didn't do so well. I could critique him, but I'm going to play Mr. Nice Guy.
It's like good call, bad call. Like, which one are you going to do?
And that was the right call for him. He doesn't respond to critique very well, so... Let's see. He's still got a bit of... he did really well. Good job. And he leveled up in Lance.
Nice.
So we'll check in a bit, but he just might have enough of that skill to be able to change class. We'll just have to see. Yeah, good job, Linny. I'm very, very proud of you. And then, he's still got a little bit of motivation. So let's go ahead and work on your horsemanship. We leveled up as well.
Nice.
Skill level up. All right. Things are going well for Linny. And then let's also... check in on Ferdy. He also has a custom focus here. I want to make him a brigand, mostly because I think he would hate the outfit, so I kind of want to force him into it.
That's vicious.
And another skill level up. He's doing really well here. As I said, I've been very focused on getting all of these skills up to the level they need to get the classes that I want.
It's very good to point out that there's each character has a specific affinity for a class, but you can dictate how you want to play it, just the way that you want to play it.
Right, so they fit sort of the synergy of the rest of your army and how you like to play.
Exactly. It's dependent on strategy, or it's even dependent on the way that you want to play.
Absolutely.
Professor.
Oh, and as you can see, some of your students can actually ask you if they want to update their goals, and you can choose to go with what they're looking to grow in, or just force them to become an archer if you want them to be an archer. Here, I'm going to leave Ignatz the way he was, just because I really want him to continue down that path. And actually, sometimes if you force a student into territory they're uncomfortable with, unfamiliar with, they'll actually grow exponentially in ways that they couldn't have foreseen. See, I'm always forced her out of her shell. It's good for her. She needs to grow and meet people. She's a wonderful young lady.
She needs some fresh air.
Yes, she does. And they did pretty well together. All right, and then you can see, again, you can pour over all of the screen. I'm going to skip through it just so that we can move along here, but I would normally be looking at every single stat and seeing how my team has grown.
Knowing how you've played past Fire Emblem games, I can vouch for that.
All right, so now that we've gotten some good skill level ups, I'm actually going to jump into the certification exams here, and that's how you change classes in this game. The really cool thing is that all characters other than character exclusive classes can become any class. So I can make Lenny, oh, yes, he has the skills that he needs. As long as you have the correct skills and they're at the correct level, you can become any class that you want. So he's at those skill levels, and so I can finally make him a Cavalier.
Nice.
If he wasn't quite at those skill levels, I could still try the certification exam. I was at 100% chance of passing. If it was a little bit lower, it would have been a bit of a gamble. It might not have worked out for me. I personally like to kind of wait to make sure it's a sure thing. I don't like to waste my seals, but you can roll the dice if you like. It's up to you. And yes, I would like you to change into that class.
Yeah, and I do like that once you pass the certification exam for a certain job class, you don't have to keep using seals if you want to switch back and forth.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and make Freddy a brigand as well. He's going to love the outfit. He'll learn to love it.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Look at him styling and profiling.
He looks proud of himself.
Yeah. Go ahead and, yeah, let's keep you that way, Freddy. All right, so that was pretty successful. Let's go ahead and let's jump into a battle. Or no, you know what? Let's do a seminar. Change my mind. Seminars are a way where you can learn from some of the other professors or faculty at the Officers Academy. Like here, Siteth is really good at lance skills. So if I want to continue to grow Lenny in that direction, I can have him attend one of Siteth's seminars, and his lance skills will improve.
Oh, nice. It's very interesting that not only are you interacting with the students, but you're also interacting with the staff as well, and building those relationships and understanding or learning their personalities as well. Because like just earlier, you were having breakfast with Manuelo, who happens to be a faculty member within the monastery.
No, there are so many student characters in this game, and they each have such a depth. It's really a delight to get to know all of them throughout the course of the game. Oh, and it's the Holy Kingdom of Fargus Founding Day today, and there's a special dish. I really want to eat there, but I'm going to jump ahead so that we can get a look at some neat battle. All right. My students are doing so well. I'm so proud of them.
I love seeing that level of it.
Yes. As a teacher and a professor, it is satisfying.
Oh, and it's Marianne's birthday, and she's a sweetheart, so I'm going to go ahead and buy her flowers. And as you see, I got support points for that, so good job all around. I'm the favorite teacher, let's be honest.
I do like that you get to interact with students in the other houses too, regardless of the house you initially choose.
Yeah.
There's that option to interact with them, possibly recruit them.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
a great
plan
point. So you're not just stuck within the students that are particular to a house. You could always recruit them over to the house that you're currently following.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and along those lines, I'm about to do a Paralog Battle that requires Raphael and Ignatz to take part in it. And Raphael and Ignatz are not actually Black Eagle students. They're both from the Golden Deer, but I loved them so much during my Golden Deer playthrough. I couldn't bear the thought of going on without them, so I acquired the skills as a professor that they wanted to grow in, and since I was able to do that, I was able to recruit them. And because I recruited them, I was able to access this Paralog. I otherwise wouldn't have been able to play. So I'm skipping right past this story moment here so that players can enjoy it at home. But basically what's happening is that Ignatz and Raphael are from a merchant families, and merchants are being attacked in the Alliance. So they want us to go and help them. And of course we're going to go help them.
It's a
We're
very
heroes
noble
after all.
deed, yes.
Yes.
That doesn't make any. Agreed. You're gonna go.
I just love Raphael. He's the best.
He's so amped.
I knew you couldn't resist.
He's always amped.
Thank you so much.
And we've seen a glimpse of the calendar a few times, and that's really notable because you live by the calendar in this game. It determines when you take part in special battles, when you can do additional training opportunities, when people's birthdays are, special holidays, tournaments, all kinds of things. So you really want to keep an eye on the calendar. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into this battle.
Oh, there they are.
There are the merchants. Oh, they're in a load of trouble because that guy doesn't look friendly.
Oh, yeah, not at all.
Looks like they are.
So my group
Let's
starts
get
up
started.
split up, and as you may have seen, the objective here is to defeat the commander
Merchants could probably escape.
and obviously protect the merchants. That's
So-
pretty important.
So you're employing proper flanking maneuvers, which is already, it looks pretty good.
Yes, yes. And that's why I'm really happy that I made Linhardt a Cavalier here, because that gives me a lot of movement at my disposal, and I really want to be able to get over to this drawbridge over here. Ooh. So first I'm going to use a combat art, then I'll get over to that drawbridge.
yeah.
Combat arts are returning. You might remember them from Shadows of Valentia, and there are a bunch of new ones in this game as well. So I'm going to go ahead and unleash one. They're very powerful, of course, but they also do lower your weapon durability very quickly. So you can't just spam the combat arts. You have to be very strategic about how you use them.
That is very good to point out.
Oh, he lost a lot of health there. We might get to
Need some
see
reinforcements.
Linny die.
Oh,
we'll
no.
see what happens. And because he is a mounted unit, he can move again after attacking. So I can just kind of scoot him away from those enemies, perhaps.
Stay focused.
Teacher to the rescue.
Yes. Hands off my students.
I do love like these battle sequences that it's not just between the opponent and your character. There's like action and battle happening, so it adds that immersion to what's happening on the field.
Absolutely. And there's my archer. It's always important to have a good archer on your team. And Ignatz is the best in the business. All right. So I think Linhardt's covered pretty well. He looks like he's going to be safe, so I can go ahead and start scooting Hubert and Bernie over this way.
She made it out of her room.
She
again.
did.
I'm so proud of her.
I'm forcing her out of her room. But well, what I'm trying to do with Linhardt is to move him over to this drawbridge, because if I lower that drawbridge, then I can get these merchants away from this really mean-looking giant wolf over
Oh,
here.
wow.
He's going to scoot his way closer and closer to them, and I don't want that to happen. So let's do our best to prevent that. Meanwhile, while we're doing that over on the left side, here on the right side, I'm going to try and inch closer to the commander so that we can maybe take him down before he causes any more mischief.
Start when laying down their forces.
Yes. And so I like to watch all of the battle animations because they're really beautiful. And as you can see, they actually zoom in on where you are on the map. It doesn't just take you to kind of a generic location, which is really cool. But for the sake of time, I'm going to try and force myself to skip the animations. It's painful, but I'll go ahead and try and do that.
Well, the folks at home, luckily this game is going to come out soon, so the folks at home will be able to experience this on their own and get through all of these, meet all these characters, experience all these battles, and dictate how they want to play.
I do like Audrey's point, the camera zooms in when you engage an enemy, and the 3D environments of the map. I like the fact that you can adjust the camera angle too. Like if you like the overhead view like traditional Fire Emblem, or if you want to like explore the environment a little bit, make it a little bit more scenic.
Yeah, that's something that's always been a real great thing about the Fire Emblem series, is that you can customize your battle to your heart's content. You can decide to skip animations, turn them on, off, all kinds of things. So, like I said, I love just watching all of those things, but you really don't have to if you'd rather just get right to it.
Yeah.
Good job, Hubert.
Well done.
Let's see. I think that's the best we can do.
Oh,
Oh, look at
that's
that. That actually
cool.
unleashed a gambit. So as you can see, those guys behind Bernadetta, those are her battalion who I've assigned to her. And because I've assigned them to her, she was able to use their gambits, which did her really well here. Was able to defeat that enemy.
Yeah,
So-
she got a crit in that one, too.
And it never would have happened if she hadn't left her room. So proud. Yes, another gambit.
Nice. Wow.
We might just save these merchants after all. And I leveled up.
Such power. Truly amazing.
If I don't say so myself, truly amazing.
Indeed.
Huh? It worked out.
All right. The path is clear now. And using my brand new Cavalier, I was able to get over to this bridge
Well
and
done.
lower it for those merchants.
So they can run away from that massive wolf, which we haven't actually just mentioned yet, but it covers like 4 spaces on the map.
Right.
Like it just shows how monstrous and massive that character is versus all the other units on the field.
He's incredibly powerful too. It takes a long, yeah, look, he's 4 spaces. He takes a lot to whittle down his health.
Yeah, and positioning is so important in Fire Emblem. At the end of your turn, your units are vulnerable to enemy retaliation, depending on what position they are. And so these bosses that take up more than one square, that really open up just like different possibilities of positioning.
So there's one more important battle that I'd like to show. So I think we're going to go ahead and switch over.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to defeat this commander today, but I'm going to leave that great pleasure to the viewers at home whenever they pick up the game. So we're going to jump right into a story battle right now. And I jumped into a bookmark here, and so I've already gone through quite a bit. I'll just run through my strategy so far. We started off over here, and as you can see, this is a real labyrinth here. So I splitted my units in half. I sent my mounted units who have higher movement over this way so that they can kind of go through there and figure things out, while my more powerful units went over here where there were a lot more enemies and a lot of traps. So now we're over here. We've opened these doors, and my mounted units have made their way through this maze. So we're in a pretty good spot, I think.
And still deploying a flanking maneuver because you have them on both sides.
And I was able to open the door here. One thing that I think is really important to do when you're in one of these sprawled out maps is to kind of choose a key bearer. So I have Sylvain here as the key bearer on this side, and whenever there's a key, I make sure that it gets over to him so that I always know who has the key. I can make sure that's the person I'm sending towards the doors.
All right, and I'm noticing these are students from the Blue Lion house.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, we are
alternate
playing a
path.
different house now.
That's a good call. In this save file, we're playing as the Blue Lion path and as female Edelgard.
Or Byleth.
Oh, sorry, female Violet. So many names.
I know.
Oh, and we've got
It just
another
goes to show
Gambit
how
going.
many characters there are in this game, so it's definitely a challenge to keep track of who's who.
But as a professor, that's my duty. All right, so I'm gonna cozy up to Byleth here and use a combat art. Ooh, we can, yeah. Let's use that one. Again, I keep not skipping the battle animations because
They're so cool to look at.
What should I do?
Dedu, you just be you. And then here's my healer. As always, it's so important to keep track of your healer in these maps and make sure that they stay alive so that they can help you stay alive.
Yeah, for sure. But as you had mentioned too, that it's really important to make sure, especially for this map, to point out which character has the keys, so then you're not scrambling around trying to identify where they are, but also switching them around.
I'll go.
All right, so we're making pretty good work of these folks. And Annette, let's move you over here. She doesn't have quite the same movement as everyone else, but she's a mage, so her ranged attacks are really, really critical because all of my mounted units, they generally tend to be lance users, so I really need to have someone with ranged attacks on my side over there.
That's how it goes.
And I don't know if you're able to see it, but some of our students here, including Byleth, have Heroes Relics, and those are very special weapons that you can only use if you have the associated crest. And crests are of incredible importance in this world. They determine your status and power. They're passed down through bloodlines, and so whether you get a crest and which crest you have really determines your position in this world. And maybe not everybody's super happy with that system.
I must steel myself.
I'm just loving how Ash is able to attack those enemies across the wall. Like,
Yeah, we're able to take them down without putting ourselves in too much danger,
Right.
which is really nice. Oh, my battalion leveled up. All right, Ash, you did well. Now you get to forge on ahead.
Proceed with caution.
I shall, Dedu. I promise. I think... How are you doing, Dedu? I'm going to heal you. Yeah, let's go ahead and heal Dedu. All right, thank you, Mercy. Well, let's go back over to this side, and there's a lever here. So let's flip it.
Still a few enemies to take out here.
Uh-huh. So let's send Sylvain up this way. Take that guy down, because he's blocking one of the warp panels I want to use. Normally, you would need to check all of these warp panels, see where they take you, but I just happen to know which one I want. I'm going to go ahead and go straight there. I've done this before. Oh, yeah, let's use Rally, because Felix, he's a bit of a downer. He needs some pep in his step. And then we're all going to move closer to this warp panel, which is going to take us where we need to be to get closer to the Death Knight, who sounds really friendly, doesn't he? Yeah. If we have time, we're going to go and try and say hello to him.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if the title Death Knight is...
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, his mother should have thought twice before naming him Death Knight, maybe.
So just to reiterate to the folks at home that are just tuning in, this is Fire Emblem Three Houses, where you play as a professor to basically encourage students and just prep them up. You can play however you want. There's a lot of depth in this game. There's a really deep narrative story. All of these characters have their own personality. And right now we're playing a bit earlier in the game where it's before the 5-year jump, which if you tune in yesterday's Nintendo Direct, you got a little bit of a preview of what happens after that jump, but this game is really, really cool, and we're really excited to show it to you today.
Yeah, and that was just a taste, what you saw in the trailer. Their stories, their backgrounds are all so complex. You can't tell what's going on until you play the game. So you have a lot to look forward to, viewers at home. All right, so my key bearer is here at the door. We're going to go ahead and say hi to the Death Knight pretty soon. You know what, Sylvain, you're a good man, but I'm going to go ahead and let your professor do the hello.
Oh my gosh.
Because Death Knight is very powerful and very, very scary.
This is risky.
We're all very scared of him. So let's go ahead and end this turn.
Just give up.
And then one thing I want to point out is that, well, first I'm going to defeat this enemy, and then I'll point stuff out. But say I had royally messed up in battle and, God forbid, let one of my students get defeated. There's actually a way using Divine Pulse where you can go back and you can redo the whole match if you want, or you can just go back a few moves. And this is obviously very powerful. It's very limited, so you have to use it strategically, or you can choose to just not use it at all and just live with the deaths. But it's actually a great way to not have to reset a whole 30-minute battle if something doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
So it's a neat option for fans.
It's also important to note, too, that right now you're playing in the normal mode.
I'm playing in classic mode,
classic mode,
which means that when people die, they stay dead. So, yeah, Divine Pulse is a great way to get around that.
Counteract the...
Yeah, and go and kind of rethink your strategies. Another battalion level up. That's handy. Oh, no.
You said he was friendly?
Too much fun.
Yeah, so we're going to stop
right here.
Right here.
Before he, over here.
Because this friendly fellow just got a little less friendly. So.
You said he was friendly.
Yes. But
yeah,
I should have pointed out that not only do you need to either take down the Death Knight, which is difficult, or take down all other enemies on that map, which there were a lot of them, you have to do it in 25 turns.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
So there are conditions and challenges to every battle.
Yes.
Cool.
But that was just a little sneak peek at Fire Emblem Three Houses. As we mentioned, it's coming out July 26th, so
Yes.
you won't have to wait long to
Yeah.
get your hands on it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for running this through with us and explaining everything. There's a lot of content for
Yes,
sure
it's
to
a
run
very
through.
deep game.
So thank you so much for tuning in. But don't go away. We still have a lot more content to show you. Up next is a multiplayer mode of Luigi's Mansion 3.